Right, so while one of my many layers of glitter is drying over here, I'm going to start on, I have these big nice wooden boxes that everything is going in. So I have, I'm going to paint the inside of the box first, and I'm going to paint the inside black, and I have also, the blue is going to go on the outside of my boxes, and I have that color here, which I really won't need for several hours, which is gonna equate to a couple of days. And I have, as you can see, all squished up. Turns out my workspace is tiny when I refuse to move my sewing machine around. I really ought to do that, but I'm pretty much not gonna start now, you know? Whew. Already have paint all over me. That's why I took my engagement ring off. Definitely take your ring off before you do messy freaking crafts. This is also going to take just an absolutely enormous amount of layers because I use really cheap paint. I could probably save money by upcharging and not having to use quite so many bottles of paint per project, but this black is just what I already had, and the blue was on sale, so I ended up with a blue that was the same brand, but like because this brand is already ridiculously cheap, the sale was like 3 of them for 99 cents. So one of them is that purple on that box over there, if y'all can see that. I already forgot what's in the frame, really. And then 2 of them are the blue that I need to use, because I knew these boxes were going to be huge. I'm a little worried now that I am doing these, but I'm obviously not too worried, because I just decided to start painting on these, which means I cannot return them. I'm a little worried that it's going to be like, oh no, I'm burdening them with like a box they can't throw away, but I don't know. Boxes are useful, especially because I've got some crafty folks in my bridal party, and you can never have enough craft storage anyway, so hopefully they'll find uses for them. And if not, they can quietly repaint them and regift them, or even just get rid of them, and I won't even feel hurt. Yeah, this is why the huge bottle of paint, and that's fucking disgusting. Alright. So, like a dried glob that just will not end. Well, that's gross. That is really stinking gross. What even was I saying? I got so disgusted by that. Oh yeah, I was saying how much this was gonna take, and that's why I was like, oh, at least I already have that giant bottle of black at home. Black and white are always the colors you need the most of anyway. Although I do not have a giant bottle of white paint. I feel like a crazy person right now because this is my work table. So I'm like doing everything on this table. It turns out I have like 3 different projects going on. Or 3 technically different projects. I mean, the champagne bottles are from this. But I have all these projects going on, and my table's still not big enough, and I have lots of other space in the room, but like not more table. And I am just doing only the insides here. This lip along here is going to be blue. Alright, and also the inside of the lid. Ah, frick. Alright, whatever. Be more careful than me. You get a little overconfident, and you have this crap happen. Alright, and here's the first layer of the inside of box number 1. repeat until it looks good. I am not gonna show you me doing both of these boxes. I am just gonna show you one box up until doing the letters on the top. So far I've actually only done one layer of the black on the inside. It's actually looking pretty good for the inside of a box already, so I'm actually just gonna, out of pure impatience, which is not great to have when tackling something like this. I'm actually gonna go ahead and start moving to my blue layer on the outside of the box, and just start with the lid here. And here's actually where a larger, like, sponge brush might have come in handy, but I already had one big paintbrush, so I didn't waste any money buying any sponge brushes. Even though there's something I should probably own. I paint enough random crap. And so on and so forth until you have a whole nice pretty outside of your box. So with my lids both done, I moved on to working on the bottoms of the boxes. And this one is done but drying. I've left the little lip on the inside undone, and we're going to save that for last. I pretty much trust you guys to know how to paint things, so I'm actually not going to show you the whole process of painting these bottoms. But there was one, I'm working on the other, and then we're going to do the little inside lips. Well, no matter how much space you have, it's never enough. But here I am in my condensed working space, and we're finally going to work on these edges here, which I'm just going to show you because this is where you're going to need to be a little bit careful. Because you don't want to get your blue into the black on the inside. And hopefully I'm starting in a corner you can see all right. And then obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but you want to not close this until your paint has dried on the inside here. I'm using this slightly smaller brush than the other brush just because it gives a little more control. Probably ought to have the camera set up on the opposite side of my dominant hand, but that's not how I have things set up right now. I don't really have the time to go rearranging everything because I have got to get these done. Not getting too much paint on your paintbrush so that you're not creating too much overflow into the sides, and hopefully I will successfully do all of this without getting a drop of blue into the black on the inside there. It'll look like somebody who actually knows what they're doing did this, rather than me who knows nothing. I feel like I know nothing. Every time I go to try to make a video, something just like doesn't end up working, and I'm like, I swear I thought I knew how to do this. Was wrong, but I thought I did. Yep. Got a little far over there. A little bit of blue creeping into what should be black. Alright. Well, you guys get the idea. I'm gonna stop there and get this all up in my face so I can do it right. Okay, we're approaching some of the finishing touches here. What I have is some glitter cardstock, and I printed out this silhouette, sort of random silhouette of like a traditional looking engagement ring, which I'm going to use as a pattern, and is going to end up with these. I have two, one for each of them. These little "Will you be my bridesmaids" things. This is the phrase I picked. I saved a lot of them on Pinterest and went through a little bit of a back and forth on what would actually write on mine. But that's what I ended up with. So what we're gonna do, because this is a little trick, so we're gonna go over the lines here in pencil, and the softer like number of pencil you have, the better. I find that mechanical pencil does work, other pencils work better. I just didn't feel like digging. I have nice art pencils that I know like are different or whatever, but like your standard pencil is pretty much a number 2, and number 2, and usually it's a soft number 2. There's hard and soft pencil lead, which most people just I know I didn't learn about it until art school, that there were even like, I always was curious why it was called a number 2 pencil, because I never knew anything other than number 2 pencils in school, so I was always really confused. I'm like, what's not a number 2 pencil? What's the difference? But I learned that difference in art school, so you can't say I didn't learn anything, because I also learned this technique in art school. Because what you can do is, we're on the back side of our cardstock here. We've got our stuff flipped down. I don't know if you can just barely see this on camera, but you can actually see through. So you're gonna actually go back over your lines, and it is actually gonna transfer the pencil lead underneath there. It means you have to draw everything a whole bunch of times, rather than just slapping down some transfer paper and going from there. But it is a lot cheaper, and there are other things I would use transfer paper on. I don't think I said, this is going to go on the inside of the box, inside the lid, so that when they open it up, they'll see the little question there. And I did see this on Pinterest. I just thought it was super freaking cute, so that's what I'm doing. And there's one. I'm gonna flip it over and use the other space. And this was like on clearance at Joann's when I went for this. I'm actually gonna pull this closer to me. So this was actually really cheap, and it's gonna look so great. It's on sale for less than $1, or well, on clearance for like, I don't know, less than $1.79 maybe. It's usually a little over $1 for glitter cardstock at least. Oh well. Apparently I didn't go over that line, but it's not the end of everything. Kind of just pencil it in anyway. And before I get to cutting everything, we're gonna put the phrase inside of a circle. Inside of the circle. Nope, never mind. I have ruined everything. Gonna have to find a slightly larger circle. Alright. We'll deal with that in a minute. Hooray for remembering that I messed things up while I'm already filming something. Alright, where did my scissors go? Okay, found my scissors, and you would have thought I would have known where they were because I'm in my crafting space, but you know, I like to move them around on myself and not leave them where I leave them half of the time. So, you know, probably need to do something about that. I have so many organization goals for this room. But yeah, we're just cutting this out. Pretty standard stuff here. And I suppose you could also do this with an X-Acto knife, but because of the curve, I'm just like, nah, man. I also don't have the greatest of histories with X-Acto knives. I mean, you just don't use X-Acto knives all the time and never get cut by them. I just don't know anyone. I don't think I know anyone who got out of art school without at least one X-Acto knife injury. And I know very few crafters, whether they did or did not go to art school, who have not cut themselves with an X-Acto knife at some point. I don't mean to like talk about art school like all the freaking time, but I notice that I do. And that is not me trying to be like, I went to art school, I'm super good, because obviously you guys have seen me achieve some truly awesome Pinterest fails and such. So that's not what I mean to sound like at all. I just happen to have gone to art school and also be making careers in the arts. So I end up just talking about my experience there a lot because it's relevant to what I'm doing on camera. It's been a while since I have cut glitter cardstock, and I forgot just how truly horrifying it is to do. It's real hard on the hands. It's just it's very thick, so it's a little difficult to cut. Which is why I say you can also do it with an X-Acto knife. But you know, crafter beware. And then I have all of this lovely extra, actually, that I'm gonna tuck away in a box and then possibly never do anything with because I just have to hoard things. Alright, so I have my two cutouts, and I am going to find a slightly larger circle template than this circle that will actually fit my little words in there. Okay, so weirdly enough, what I found was this pattern piece from a mini top hat pattern that I have, which is not going to be the easiest to work with, but it's the size I need. I don't feel like going through a bunch of rigmarole or anything to make it easier, to make it a material that's easier to work with or anything. And some people would want to do this like by hand, like put a little piece of white in the center and then just calligraphy into that size. I don't have very much skill with calligraphy, and my handwriting is awful. So honestly, this is the best choice for me to do this. And I'm sure many of you share similar woes, but we're just gonna do this and then we're gonna cut it out. And with this, I'm gonna try to cut like just inside of the line so that I don't get too much of my pencil markings on my final circle, just so that I don't have to do like a whole bunch of erasing. And it's about as good as my cutting out skills get. Just a couple little spots and try to get them erased. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the other one out, but our final step is gonna be gluing these on. Probably more like that. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So, like I said, this piece is gonna go up into the top of the lid at a little bit of a jaunty angle here because it's a little more artistic than just putting it straight up and down, and you know me. I gotta be that way. So, theoretically, covering this in Mod Podge should do just fine. I'm gonna use, this is a Mod Podge only paintbrush, because I started using it for Mod Podge one time, and that kind of ruins your paintbrush. So, you know, ugh. We're just gonna get this all over the back of this. I think generally when you decoupage with Mod Podge, you're supposed to put the glue on the surface that you're actually gluing your paper to. But I am lazy and don't want to figure out how to get the Mod Podge on just the surface area I need it on. So I am just gonna do it the opposite way. And it should work for long enough to be just fine. Of course it warps it because that's what wet glue does. I am going to set this down and set something on top of this to help, maybe something on top of this to help keep it pushed down. We're going to do that, and we're going to do that to the other one as well, and then we'll put the other paper on. Okay, so what I'm about to do here is some very iffy nonsense, because sometimes I do not do things the right way, and I only think of the right way to do things after I am trying to solve a problem that I should have solved 4 steps ago. So, the problem is, this is paper, and, you know, paper and glue makes wrinkles. So what I'm going to let you know what I should have done was cut this center circle out of the glitter paper, just inside, so that I could glue the edge to the back side and completely hide all that paper and glue nonsense. What I'm going to try to do instead is sort of guess where this goes, because I can't make any sort of markings here, but I need to go ahead and lay some Mod Podge down on the paper underneath. That should help. Should help, but might not help. So, just gonna make a nice glued up area here. And then just hope that my edges don't curl too bad. But yeah, and working on this not vertical would be a great idea if you're doing this. Not trying to film and show other people how to screw up as badly as you have would be great. But yeah, I'm just gonna try to get some under the edges there as well, just trying to get it as flat as I possibly can, even though I have already ruined everything forever. Alright, and I'm gonna go off camera to do that. So I did get this a little bit off center, but honestly it didn't go as horribly as it could have gone. Except for, you know, the edges trying to creep up and everything is wrong. Ah. Okay guys, so I'm at the final part, putting the boxes all together. And I have these paper shreds from the Dollar Tree once again. Goodness knows, the Dollar Tree is actually a really great place. Alright, that's actually super plenty. And I might have used pink, but they didn't have pink, but white is actually one of my wedding colors anyway. But we're just gonna lay that down so that stuff just doesn't rattle around into each other, because it's a lot of glass going on. Oh shoot, I need to wash these. I'll be right back. Okay, now that I remembered to actually wash the freaking champagne glass, not glass. And then I put in a little personal letter there, and a little thing here. And just nice and cute and nestled in like that. I'm gonna give you a slightly above angle look here. All nestled and sparkly pretty. And then you just do all of this for as many bridesmaids as you're willing to do it for. This was definitely a project that was better for me because I have a limited number of bridesmaids that I'm asking. So it was just 2 of everything. So not too much of a hassle. A little bit of a hassle. I know I got a little stressed. But I think this actually turned out really great in the end. So there you have it. Nice little bridesmaids boxes. I'm super happy about this. So you may notice I'm filming this outro in, compared to the previous footage, the distant future, because I was editing this last part in the trio today and realized I never filmed any kind of proper outro. So here I am now. I no longer have the final product to show off, but it was showed off pretty well in that last clip there, because I did give those to my bridesmaids, and they did agree to be my bridesmaids. And the wedding is happening in June, just about 2 months from now. So, yeah. But overall, I just want to say that, like, I really enjoyed doing the project. It went over really well with my friends, and I really think it's worth it if you're only having like a certain number of bridesmaids to do something that intense and personal. Obviously, if you just have 10 close friends you cannot not have as your bridesmaids, and you're gonna have like 8 and 10 bridesmaids or whatever, maybe just buy something nice and not, unless you have the time and the desire to paint 10 of these boxes. I don't think I would have had the stamina to do something like that, but that was never really a question for me anyway. So there it is. I just wanted to film a little something with a couple of final thoughts and my tradition of telling y'all that I will see you next time. Bye!